Hey, it's Sarah again. We're over in the panel office as usual, and we're going to be doing a little documentary video slash series on replacing cork rollers in the panel system. Now, I've never done this before, so it's going to be kind of interesting. And let me go into it a little bit and show you why we need to replace them and what that entails. The first thing to talk about is that these frames, the selectors on these frames, are driven upwards and downwards by cork rollers that are driven in turn from a gearbox connected to a motor. Now, over time, these rollers wear out and they develop kind of a divot or a indentation in them, and it can no longer drive the selector up when the clutch is engaged. So we have that problem in our incoming frame right now, and there is actually a practice for how to fix the rollers inside of the frame itself, but we think with the amount of damage that's actually been done, it would be easier just to remove the roller, replace it with one from another frame that we're not using, and then actually repair the roller while it's out on a workbench. So we're going to be doing that. This will be really fun because, like I said, I haven't done this before, so I'm sure to make lots of mistakes. Now, as far as I can tell, there isn't really a practice for how to do this. The only instructions I was able to find are a 4-page document from a training manual from New York City in the early 1920s. Check it out. So here we have it. This is instructional data VJ to XVI, so 5J to 16. Best I could tell, date this is 1922 maybe. And in the back here is a section on removing a friction roll drive, and it's only about 4 pages long. But I'm going to use it as a starting point. And then it has some helpful diagrams of tools and so on. So we'll use this as a guide. I don't know how applicable it's going to be to our frames, but it's probably a really good start. So let's first go ahead and take a look at the cork rollers. I'll show you what they look like and where they are physically. And then we'll go into draining the oil in the gearbox, removing the motor, removing the gearbox, removing the bearing box, and all the other awesome stuff. Here we go. Okay, so here are the cork rollers for this frame. Now, this frame actually has 3. The one that I'm replacing will have 2, but the idea is the same. Cork rollers run the entire length. These clutches in front of the rollers are what engage the rods to drive upwards and downwards. The rollers themselves are steel, covered in the cork, and they're driven via a gearbox and a motor. Now, there's no motor on this side of the frame, but if there was, it would be sitting right here. Let's go around and take a look at the incoming frame, and we'll see the equivalent pieces. Here's the incoming frame. Now, I've marked these selectors as no good because these are the ones that are having the problem. And if I try to engage the clutches, it's pretty evident that these selectors aren't moving. This one kind of works, but it has some low spots in it, so the updrive is really kind of laggy and not very nice. Right, for comparison, a good selector just goes up. So again, on this frame, the cork rollers are back in there. You have one spinning for the updrive and another spinning for the downdrive. We have a gearbox. It's got oil level glass sight. Here's the worm gear. It's driven off this motor, then turns the gears inside the gearbox. And then we have 3 outputs. We have 2 outputs for the roller, and we have another output to drive the vertical shaft. Now, the other thing is, inside the gearbox and kind of around this whole assembly, you can't really see them because on this frame they're integral to the gearbox, but there are oil pipes, and there's an oil pump down in here that I'm going to check while I have the gearbox off. On the other side, the rollers mate with a bearing box, which is this right here. Don't worry about this. This is the gearbox for the other side. We're just caring right now about this smaller bearing box. It's got 2 oil sights, one here and one here. It's got an output shaft under here, which can drive another frame if you want to do that. And so we'll have to take this off as well. Funnel, damn it. Of course we don't have a funnel here, so paper cut works. Looks like it's mostly empty already. Not surprising, since this gearbox hasn't been run since 1974 at least. Still, just gonna let it drain out what little there is in there. And in the meantime, I'll go get a rag. Can I just say that I love draining the oil on my telephone switch? I mean, who does this? This is incredible. I think it's 10W30. That should work alright. Yeah, there was barely anything in there to begin with, so let's put the fill back in, the drain plug back in, and we'll just call that a success. So, having drained the oil, the next step is to figure out how to begin taking this gearbox off. Andrew, are my instructions for this on the OGT desk, or are they still in the lunch area? Alright. Let's get in here and take a good look. Thank you. Stop rotor, remove it if necessary. No motor there. Take down connecting shafts, if any. No shafts there. Drain oil from gearbox. Check. Remove, feed, and return oil tubes. Now that's for an older gearbox, where the tubes are external. saw. Can't get in there. So we don't use no stinking power tools. We just use that grunt energy. Maybe we should use tools before leverage, though. What size is that? 9/16? What do you think? Let's see if we can find it. You might say, Sarah, don't you have a full wrench set here? The answer is no. I only have what I need. There's no way that's 9/16. Why'd you tell me it was 9/16? You crazy? It's probably ½ inch, maybe even 7/16. In fact, this looks too big. Oh, ½ inch. Hey Peter, is sender A the only one that's not busy right now? Andrew's been, will it work? So A is okay. Okay, got it. So, pardon me, I'm gonna try to hold the camera while I look as well. Alright, I see this gear here is there. What'd you say, Peter? Oh yeah. There's the copper oil pipe in there. We got these, let's see. Looks like this will be an adventure to take apart. Now, this is for the sequence switch shaft here. Gotta take this bad boy off. Take this bad boy off. And I should be able to unmount the gearbox from the inside. Oh, that's cool. This is in really good shape, actually. I don't see any metal shavings or grossness. Let's look in the bottom real quick. Let's take some pictures of this so I can make sure I get it back together right, and then we'll move right along here. So the next thing we got to do, after having gotten this cover off, is remove the coupling for the vertical drive. Now this is for the sequence switch shaft here. And this coupling is normally very well lubricated, but since it hasn't been used in a long time, it's pretty dry. And this coupling is kind of cool. If this shaft seizes, there's enough play here, usually, to let this keep spinning, even if the shaft is seized. It's not really play, it's just a friction coupling. There's no actual gearing to ruin. of it. The other half on the back side. Those screws go through these two channels on each side, and they allow a little bit of play in either direction. Now, this also allows play in this direction, and there's an identical one underneath that allows play in this direction. So again, this is pretty gross, but what it should look like, if it was clean, it would look like that. You can see a little bit of it's worn away just because of the horizontal movement of the shaft relative to the gearbox. What we're going to do now is do the harder ones. See how this moves back and forth as well? So they're at 90-degree angles to each other, so it can work in all directions, even if the shaft is slightly off center. So what we do is spin it around a little more. And we gotta get these screws out from under here. Usually if I see how it sandwiches together. Screw this shaft coupling, this bit for a little bit of play, and then this different coupling in the back. Perfect. There's that bit again. These two. There's this guy. The shaft goes down through there. This other bit. Back piece, and then this is the very middle of the sandwich here, and it's got one of these slidey guys on it here. See that? This is still, I want to say nice and greasy, because that's what you want. Mostly uncoupled. This here is just an oil cup. Keeps oil from dripping out. It actually keeps it in this lip here, so if it does drip out, it'll just drip right back into the gearbox. Got a pair of washers here. These washers sit in the center of this cup. Actually 3 washers. This will be helpful for me later. Top, middle, bottom. So another set, maybe washers. This is the one that goes underneath. And here is the drive gear for that. So now that we've gotten that shaft off, remove gear case cover, uncouple sequence switch drive shaft coupling and remove it. Remove gears off of end of roll shaft. So that's what we have to do next. Now the gears on the end of the roll shaft are these here. So the shafts, the friction rolls are in there, which you can't see because it's dark. And those are the two gears that drive them. So it looks like I gotta get this cotter pin out of here, and this castle nut, and then these two gears should hopefully slide right off. Oh, and there's a, looks like right here, this screw probably goes through this and locks this gear to this shaft, but I do have the bit I need for that, I believe, so that shouldn't be too bad. Time to get some pliers. I'm trying to get this cotter pin out of here. Of course, it's so loose that it's too tight to get my pliers in there, and too loose to... Those are the wrong pliers. Too tight to get my pliers in there, and too loose to get with a screwdriver, because if I get my screwdriver in there, there we go. Now I should be able to get at it with my pliers real quick. Now can we take it out without dropping it in the gear case? Cotter pin. Alright. In there for a minute. Last time we said we guessed 9/16. Are we correct? Too small. Let's try
9.5/16.
3/4. Too big. Really too small? Really too small. Alright. 10/16, 5/8. That's what I'm guessing it is. Let's see if we have a 5/8 socket. Wait, are you really that loose? Huh, look at you.
Maybe you don't need a socket.
You're finger tight. Oh, okay. Sure. That's fine, I guess. We don't need wrenches.
More like finger loose than finger tight.
Maybe that's on purpose. I don't know. Who knows? Okay, we got castle nut and one washer. And is this really just gonna slide out? Yes, it is. This is the input gear, and this here is the output. And the output slides over the input, and it's got a keyed shaft, so it can only go on in that one orientation. And it looks like that's keyed as well, even though the key just fell out and fell into the bottom of the gearbox. Cool. That's definitely what I wanted to happen. Alright, well, mental note. Dig that key out. Right? Okay.
Probably won't remember this until it's time to edit the video.
That's right. That's why I'm talking. I'm talking to the camera. Alright, next thing we gotta do is take this gear off, but I'm afraid that in order to do that, I'm gonna have to take this entire bottom plate off.
Does it even come off?
What?
Oh yeah,
It does, yeah. There's a couple of screws here that are very much in my way. There's that one, but there's some over here that are very much in places I can't get to. And so I wasn't going to take this whole assembly off or out, but I think I'm going to, because the only way to get in here without stripping the screw is to take this off, right? This whole governor, alarm governor business. But to take the alarm governor business off, I have to be able to pull it out, and I can't pull this part of the assembly off without, because this is all part of one shaft. So I think if I pull this collar off, then if I take these screws out and pull the alarm governor back, I think this whole shaft should come out with the alarm governor and everything right on it. And there's going to be a worm gear on there. So that's what I have to do. Hey, Amy? Do you still have those hex keys?
How wide is the field of view of this camera?
No idea. Gonna find out when I go to edit it tonight. Over here, line finder aisle.
Why are you tapping on that?
To loosen this screw.
Oh.
Thanks. Hey, Astrid?
Yeah.
Can you take this collar off?
Yeah, what's it involve? Oh, okay.
Finding the right hex key.
Doable. There we go.
Usually it's on there pretty tight, so you might want leverage. I got it.
Just these two keys?
Yep. You don't have to take them all the way out, just loosen it enough and it slides right off.
There you go.
So we'll put that collar right here. Put the hex key back. Got it. In my toolbox on the chair is a skinny black screwdriver.
Yeah.
It's like a skinny blade. No, Astrid's got it, hon. Don't worry. Thank you, Astrid. So let's hang on to the camera real quick, because I might be able to get this thing out right away.
Should I hold it?
Yeah. Okay. I don't know if this is going to come out easily or not, but let's find out. Hey, love. This is... Huh? Yeah, come on in. Oh, if this just comes out without having to... Oh, it does! Yes! So I can actually take this off without messing with the alarm governor.
Oh, good.
Or with the
shaft.
yeah, which is great. So I'm just gonna reach around you real quick, put those screws in there. So yeah, here's the alarm governor, naked mode. It looks like we already lost spring, almost. There we go. You ever see this, Amy?
I had, but it's just a, what you call it, like a ball governor.
Yeah.
There's a name for those, I can't remember what it is.
I've been calling it a ball governor on the video, so I'm sure that someone smart on the internet will correct me.
Undoubtedly.
Let's put that there so it can fall later.
As is traditional.
As is traditional.
So there's another something on the clockwork more practice thing I tried that.
Hey fellas, how you doing?
Good yourself.
Good. You having a good time?
You brought toys.
Oh, you brought back the slow-mo cameras.
And this time with enough light to actually use them.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Oh, nice.
Go play with the teletypes,
Yes.
right?
Let me know if you want, help with them.
Thanks.
I'm not doing anything, so.
Is he, is he set up properly right now?
Yeah,
I
it's.
don't know. We'll find out.
I don't even know if the AC is on.
Yeah, I think
By the bathroom, Amy?
yeah.
Thanks, Astrid.
I tried.
All right. What screws am I missing?
That's always the struggle.
There's one.
Oh, yep. Oh.
Ow!
You got bolts or
Yeah, my forehead.
Oh, that's like right behind the shaft. You need one of those offset screwdrivers?
I think I need it. You know, it's one thing to get a shock on your fingers, but it's entirely different to get 48 volts to your forehead.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? There's not even a fuse in this. There's not even a 15 amp fuse in this.
Ooh.
So this panel's got volts coming to it from somewhere else. Because the main distributing fuse is completely gone.
Well, that's
So-
the magic of GCO.
Is the alarm fuse? The alarm fuse is blown.
Yep. Should have no juice on it.
Maybe through one of the trunks.
There's nut screws on the bottom?
I got those already.
Okay.
Just giving it some general persuasion.
Wait, is this...
I don't know if that screw's important.
So what I'm thinking is, you hold this?
Yeah.
What I'm thinking is this different casting from that?
Yeah, no, it's all the same casting.
Okay, you're right, it's got a machine surface. Okay, yeah.
So I think this screw probably holds this shaft in place.
That would make sense.
You know, it might sit in like a groove
Mm-hmm.
to keep the shaft from moving front to back.
Yeah.
Let me just get under here real quick and see if what I'm missing. Okay, so we got a whole bunch of screws under there, and there's the seam right here.
So it's gonna be the whole sump. Do you have a bucket under it, or are we just gonna deal with
I
it?
already drained the oil.
Okay.
So I don't see. Are there any screws in here that I can't see?
I don't see any.
Okay.
And there's none on the bottom. There's
All right.
four
so
removed.
this is just affixed by stickiness.
Yeah. And ancient oil. Oh, there it is.
Problem solved. Okay. All right. Can you see over there? So here is the motor. The motor, if there was one, would couple right here. Spin this shaft. And here's the worm gear that spins this input here. So this is the main input gear for the entire gearbox. And it runs off this worm gear. You can see the gear, there's some bearings. I'm trying to hopefully not have too many shadows.
I like how every single gear in this gearbox is a sliding contact.
Yep. It's really brilliantly designed, actually. I really like it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was saying before that it's really incredible that this is in such good shape. I don't see any serious wear or badness inside of this gearbox. It looks great. There's really not much shearing or anything going on. Look how clean it is.
Yeah.
Here's the key I dropped in there earlier.
Oh.
Andrew, would you mind grabbing me another paper coffee cup from the bottom drawer underneath the coffee maker? Okay, so now this bottom cover plate is off, which means that the next step is to remove this gear.
There's a screw in there, is there?
Yep, so I gotta go get the special bits because it's got this weirdo, I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, we can.
It's got that weirdo head on it.
Sort of pre-Torx.
Yeah, it's funky.
The pre-Torx high torque bit is what I'm gonna go.
It does seem like it would be high torque. Put this over here so I can step on it later. I always gotta think about screwing up later.
You gotta leave room for future you.
Yeah, you gotta leave room to screw up later. Okay, screwdriver is the right size, so whatever.
That's a Torx bit though, right?
Yeah. Yes, I got it.
Oh.
Amaze. So good.
Do you want a hand?
Got it.
Yeah, see?
Yep.
Kinda wanna see this disgusting
Yep.
screw. Oh, wow.
Yep.
Oh, it's double-ended.
Yeah.
That's a heckin' grub screw. Yeah, this looks like a gear sort of thing.
Wait, is that another one in there?
Yeah. Here
Is
you
it
go.
doubly, We're gonna have
Like
to
on the
put
far
these
side?
back at some point.
Yeah.
Is there another one in there? There is!
In that same hole?
Yeah.
So they were jammed in there?
That's just the first one that keeps the second one from
Wow.
spinning out.
I guess they're serious about this reliability thing.
This one's gonna be a little bit tougher because this one's deep in there.
I've never seen jammed grub screws, that's wild.
Yeah.
But then I haven't taken anything apart. You wanna hold?
Well, you haven't taken many panel transmissions apart, have you?
Nope.
Oh, this is gonna be... I'm gonna need a really long screwdriver because this is at too much of an angle. Oh, wait, did that work? Did it work? Did it work?
It did. I think so.
I'm gonna need a better screwdriver to put this back in, though.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't. I don't want to mutilate this thing. Still coming. Still coming.
Yep.
Goes in this cup closest to you.
Okay. Well, that one's a little longer. Same bit.
Is that an absolute unit?
This is an absolute unit.
The big chunkus? Oh, here we go! Slides right off of there. Cool, okay.
Oh, there's a key in here.
Well, let's get that. Okay, good. It's the same as the other key.
Where do you want these? Oh, here.
The bits themselves you see to go back in the toolbox because those are the wrong size.
Yeah.
So yeah, here's the mating surface for that screw. Right there. And then that's where the key was.
Looks like they cut those key slots with like a little saw or something.
Yep. They got that half moon shape so the key always gets centered in the slot.
Oh, I thought it was because they cut it with the saw.
It might be it too, but however they milled that,
Yeah.
they might have just milled it in that.
And it doesn't look milled. I mean, it sounds like a pain in the ass to mill.
Who knows? So this, I didn't know this was here. This end coupling. So this is normally covered by the cover, and I'll show you what I mean. Oh, can't forget my cotter pin on there.
Huh.
All right, so this is normally covered, but if you want to drive another gearbox for an adjacent frame, you just put a different cover on there that exposes this. And then this is the coupling to drive a gearbox back that way.
Oh.
So you can have this one motor driving two frames if you want. It's more economical that way.
And that copper tube is the oil pump, right?
Well, it's not the oil pump, but it's definitely an oil tube.
Part of it?
Yeah, the pump is down here. And then it pumps the oil up to here where it comes out and then splashes
Okay.
splashes down over everything.
Yeah.
Then drains back into the sump down here, and there's a little hole. So it's just a big splasher.
Sometimes it's all you need.
And the oil pump is just two opposing gears that just trap the oil in a big pocket, and pockets between them, and just pumps it up.
Huh.
All right, so get my head out of the way. The next thing I have to do is now unhook this gearbox from the frame.
Oh yeah, because it's not coupled to anything. What about those wires?
Well, what I can do is just undo these two screws and let this hang, which is actually a pretty good idea. Why don't I just do that right now?
I'll put you guys down for being here last Sunday, is that correct?
I was not.
I was here last Sunday, yeah. I never go home. Leave those there so they can fall out later.
Seems to be today's theme.
Always make sure you're thinking about all the ways you're going to screw yourself up later. Well, I think this is it for today. What I have to do next time is this gearbox is held in by this right here.
Yep.
This right here. Oh, that's actually the bearing box, so I don't need to remove that, but I need to loosen this.
It's hanging off of that, right?
Yep, and
It's sitting on top of there.
they're sitting on top of this. So I need to loosen these here, here, and then this, I imagine, should just come right out. There's nothing holding it on there, or here. There's no, I thought there might be a circlip or something.
No, it doesn't look like it.
But I
Maybe
don't
it just
see one.
sticks through.
Yep.
There's some tolerance there, like it's flush.
So that's the end of the roll. The roll's right there.
Oh, that's the roll.
That's the end of it. Now I just hope that one of these is compatible with whatever's on the incoming frame.
Yeah. So are we disassembling the office frame?
to steal one of the rollers.
I thought you wanted to steal it from the
Sarah,
Couldn't do that. 1 second, Chuck. I couldn't do that because those rollers are a different length.
Oh.
What's up, Chuck?
in the practices about these frames, there's a piece part,
You're right.
and that would have the part numbers, which might help you.
You're right, and I have scans of those at home, so I can write on my laptop. All right, let's kill the camera for today.